It is unfair, very sad, and depressing to be blamed and trolled, to be pointed at. You cannot support us because you will be supporting a criminal activity.
Wow. Okay, well said, and welcome to a Monday. It is November 30th. On the air everywhere from Studio Kitchen, Colorado. The Modern Eater Show continues. Hope you had a great holiday weekend. We've got a lot of work to do. We're going to get right to it. That was the voice of Mike Hernandez. He's a business owner, 3 restaurants, Parker and in Castle Rock, the Gym Co., the Office Co. Bar and Kitchen, and the Library Co. Bar and Kitchen. Mike's going to join us here in just a minute. I want to tell you what we're covering here today. Here we are, all in our places with sunshiny faces, myself, Greg Hollenbach, and Jay Parker, and we welcome you again to another edition of the Modern Eater Show. As the walls just seem to be closing in right now. A lot has happened over the weekend. You'd think it'd be slow, but no. The governor, unfortunately, contracting COVID-19, seems to be asymptomatic with him and his partner. They are quarantining, as well they should be. The mayor, Playboy himself, got off the plane. He's back in town right now, and he's singing that story of why he's so apologetic, that he followed his heart and went to go see his family, which is an interesting thing, and I think we'll talk about that dynamic is, did he actually go because he felt unsafe? I think he felt safe to go, and he's the guy who gets all of the latest updates. He gets all the latest information. There's a gentleman that wasn't afraid to go travel for the holidays, and he showed you by his actions. We'll cover that as well. We got a lot of great audio from the mayor, so thank you. We've got a poll question. This is something that we're going to dig into. Everybody needs to jump on board with this. I don't care if you're right-leaning, you're left-leaning, you're right down the center. I want to talk to logical people, okay? Logical people, I want you to answer this question, and I want you to answer it fairly. I don't think that there's much wiggle room on this, right? So the poll question of the day is, why should small business equality be treated differently than racial equality? Let me try you again. Why should small business equality be treated differently than racial equality? Answer the poll question. We'll cover that a little bit later on. But again, we're so glad that you've joined us on this Monday, November 30th. Let's get right to our guest right now. His name is Mike Hernandez, and he will join us on the Modern Eater Show for the first time. Welcome, Mike.
So, hi.
Good to see you.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. We've been saying it time and time again here on the show. When restaurants and bars are outlawed, restaurant and bar owners will become outlaws. Do you see any truth to that right now, Mike?
Correct. And I think that's what we're experiencing at the moment,
I want to play your passionate clip one more time, and then you can tell us where this was and why you were responding. It looks like you're in front of a judge and a jury trying to plead your case as a business owner. And again, this is Mike Hernandez.
It is unfair, very sad, and depressing to be blamed and trolled, to be pointed at. You cannot support us because you will be supporting a criminal activity.
You cannot support us because you will be supporting criminal activity. Great sound clip there. I'm sure there was a lot more to it. Set the stage for us. First of all, tell us a little bit about yourself and your businesses, if you would, Mr. Hernandez.
Well, have been on the restaurant industry for 22 years. Started in Utah with some family members. I was in the Mexican food cuisine for about 18 of those years. About 4 or 5 years ago, made this switch to more of bar and grills. And that's where we at right now. With experience and all the travels and all the tryouts and everything that a restaurant owner has to go through, washing many dishes, cleaning many tables, just listening to customers, seeing the markets, all the changes and everything that gets imposed on us. About in 2016, it made sense for me to adjust to a more less labor intensive concepts, and that's how the office started. Just switching concepts and maintaining that.
You're
trying to be more of a
Mike, you're a lifer. You've been doing this for a long time. You better still have some good Mexican food on the menu too, which I'm sure you probably do. I've yet to go, but now I've really got a reason to. You seem like just a very nice guy, and I'm sure you've never guessed in your many years of being in the business that serving some comfort food would turn you into a criminal.
Correct. And just to like elaborate a little bit on that comment, it was main to because that meeting was at a town hall meeting here in Castle Rock, and our great leaders here are trying to help us, and they're trying to do as much as limited of what they can feel they can help us. And in that meeting, a comment came to be of they cannot really help us, especially financially, because it was determined that if they help in any way, shape, or form financially, they will be supporting a criminal activity. So it was kind of like a shocker to be in that meeting and hear the town council people trying to be as supportive as they can, but saying we can't really do much because then we will be breaking the law.
So enforcement, and let's go slow again. Mike Hernandez here with us, the Jim Co. and Parker, the Office Co. Bar and Kitchen, and the Library Co. Bar and Kitchen in Castle Rock. You were shut down for operating, right? Talk to us about what led up to that moment.
Correct. So, the many years that we have worked with the health department, we always believe that there's procedures. There's always that common sense and common ground on everything. As a benefit, as a business, you will try to stretch as much as you can, as same as anything in our benefit, for the benefit of our business. One of my stores on Friday evening, when the regulations were supposed to start, we got served a cease and desist order. Obviously, we said okay, well, this is the first step. This is what is going to happen. And, we deal with them in a, on and off basis. We have a good relationship with the health department. We're local. So, we try to adapt and try to enforce everything as a best of our efforts, which as anything in law will be arbitrary, right? Mm-hmm. To my interpretation, to their interpretation. So, we believe we had a fair share of opening the communication of how we're going to move forward with this. That store that got served got moved right away to enforcing, the regulations. And, Saturday went by, Sunday went by, Monday went by. And then Monday evening, that's when the 3 of my locations got served orders to close. Mm-hmm. So at a certain point, we felt that, okay, we were on step 1 or step 2 in one of my stores. And then on my 2 other ones, he just jumps to, here, let's hit a home run with this. Let's close these 3 stores. I wasn't aware on Monday evening that it was only actually 5 restaurants that got shut down. And I was just surprised to see that it was so little, I had attended 2 previous meetings where there was a lot of support for other business owners, obviously just adjusting to everything. And again, we understand that, we get it. We're not here, like you say, I think I share that same mindset of what you say. We're not trying to push for anything radical. We're not trying to cause any problems. We're just wanted to establish some dialogue and some communication, because since this started, we realistically haven't heard nothing from the health department, like 0, other than a couple phone calls saying we're following guidelines, and whatnot. But other than that, there has been nothing, same as guests from town people and from everybody. Everybody has come to accept, here's a sheet, here's guidelines, follow it. Today we woke up and we decided you need to do also this, and tomorrow, you need to also do this. So there has not been any kind of dialogue on how we're going to work this out. how we can really be considered and be respected in the community, without just being imposed on, and I think that that's the big picture here, that since this started, we were always valuable places for the community, like I explained on my town hall meeting, and I told them, I was like, you celebrate weekends with us. We get to work every weekend. We clean. We do everything possible for you to enjoy in a community. Everything that is to do with celebrating, whether it's just having a regular dinner with your family, with friends, anything, we have always considered ourselves. That's why it's called hospitality, right? Like, we're in the hospitality business, make you feel welcome. And all of a sudden, it just feels that we are the ones like to blame, on many, many levels. And I just think it's unfair for the treatment, because there has not been an open dialogue about really what's going on,
Well, this is not a new song that you're singing, Mike. This is the voice of Mike Hernandez. He's a restaurant owner in Parker and Castle Rock. And the politicians and the bureaucrats, it seems to be a pick and choose thing. It's very confusing. The goalposts are moving on a daily basis. You're expected to keep up on the changes, and let's face it. So you're telling me, you're saying, Greg, I'll give you my word. I wasn't trying to do anything wonky. I'd like to try and follow by the rules. Do you believe that you were singled out? I mean, at this point in time, heck, there's phone numbers that you can call because neighbors are peeking in your windows to see if there are too many people gathering at your house. There are folks that go out to look at restaurants to make sure everything's absolutely perfect. Do you believe that you were singled out at this point in time, or do you just believe this was arbitrary and you pulled the short straw?
I guess after learning from their newscast and all the news outlets that it was, both shared from patrons or people from the community and other businesses, that, obviously we were targets. Whether I wanted to say that was fair or not, like I said, we respect every single department and we'll abide by it in any single way. I was just shocked to learn that with many, many, many businesses, that we were the only ones on that day. That's what it was a little bit more shocking. But there's communities, and I think that the sad part about this is that we have every day like start growing and growing and creating a community where it's about hate and pointing a finger and trying to find a blame, and that's where is sad. I've come across Facebook groups from customers that pointed at me. It's like, hey, your name is out there. Hey, you gotta check this group. They're not letting go on your thread. Like they're keeping up. So I'm completely unaware of, because I'm a restaurant owner. Like I'm greeting customers. I'm hanging out with my people. I'm helping out my staff. Like to learn that there's groups out there that their whole existence is just to be pointing fingers and promoting hate, like that is the most worrisome for us,
Well, if there's any solace at all, I can tell you that folks with that kind of hunter mentality, when you become the hunter, you will be hunted at one point, and that PCism or political correctness will begin to eat themselves, as we're seeing right now. You're merely just an operator trying to make a living, but there is an example that's being made out of you. You're being smacked back, and what that means is just, sit down, be a good person, and if you don't, you're going to have your licensing taken away from you. You may not get funding, making it just so, okay, there's no voice of dissension at all. Where do you stand now? And I'm sure you have your community of folks that frequent your restaurants that are rallying around you. Are you able to operate right now?
Correct, yes. It was something like a 2-day back and forth with the local inspectors, reaching out on a very, very simple agreement. And yes, we are operating. We are following every single guideline. A couple of my locations, they even that's where the question arises when we were approached, because I have patios in a couple of my locations, and it was just, again, just the fact, like, I am like abiding, you know, like, as much of my interpretation and my staff interpretations of what we can do and not do at the moment. And that's, again, where it became shocking that I had three different locations, three different parts of town, and they were hit the same. Like, that's where it felt a little bit unfair, of where that's where it felt more like it became I was target, not to be unfair of saying, like, yeah, well, maybe, yeah, we could have slipped here and there, but not necessarily at the three stores at the same exact time, in the same way and fashion that it was expressed.
I'm going to ask a terrible question, but I'm going to draw an analogy a little bit later on between business equality and racial equality. I'm going to guess that you felt a little bit of racial equality or inequality in your lifetime. Would I be correct with assuming that?
Yes, up to a certain point, yes.
Okay. Is there any feeling or jump across that there's a little bit of business inequality that's happening right here? Is that feeling similar?
That is the 100% feeling, That's where I lean more towards, that
discrimination,
business discrimination, business association, like, it's that line. It's, don't understand it. I don't understand it for sure.
Because it doesn't make sense. It doesn't make sense. Okay, let's jump into the last portion of this in the real world. The real world is that you need to pay your bills. You need to pay your employees. You need to keep your business afloat. Where are you right now, Mike Hernandez? What's the health of your business, and how much longer do you anticipate you'll be able to hang on without any relief or being able to operate in a normal fashion?
With the initial help that it was out there, the PPPEs and the other emergency fund, we were able to qualify on two of the stores. The one in Parker, the gym, unfortunately, I opened March 9th. I was open for, a little bit over a week since all this started. So that store hasn't been able to qualify for anything. Being said, I think that, we're very much loved for a large amount of the community. My businesses have been healthy. My staff, my family members, everybody that helps us, we all maintain a very normal lifestyle, so we're able to keep providing for ourselves and the majority of our employees. It is worrisome just to not know where we stand. I think that's the most stressful part of this, that as much as, we want to help everybody that is employed, we know that we can't. Other employees jump right away on unemployment because at the end of the day, they say, like, I make more there, like being open for takeout and carry out is not the same, and the nature of it is being very complicated, on top of the stressors of we as business owners are put every day. Now I have to fill up a amount of applications, make sure I qualify, make sure I have documentation, make sure I have, X, Y, and Z items, make sure in certain time I'm going to reply back to those items. So again, it's as much as you can ask for a person, right? For a human being, not only, worry about your employees, worry about your building, worry about paying rent on time, worry about paying bills. Now you have another workload of presenting right paperwork, right numbers, everything. It's just, like we wear many hats for sure in the restaurant business, but I can tell you it keeps growing to the extent that, like, where does it stop? Where do we get a little bit of respect for everything that we're doing, and just show us some love, like I was explaining to the inspector, and as I share my reports when I was trying to get out of the closures, 30 people, 30 people visit my stores Saturday, Sunday, Monday, each day. 30. 30 guests made my business a lot better. You know, between 30 and 70 people make my business flourish. It's like we're only asking for such a small bite of that pie that everybody else is being allowed to indulge of, you know. And that's as me personally, that's what I'm asking for, you know. Some kind of level of let me operate at some level, you know.
Absolutely.
Normal level.
I keep promoting the hashtag safer at restaurants. I truly believe, I mean, some of these restaurants, they're so clean you could perform surgery on their tables. It's an interesting thing. Deanna Johnson from the Stream said, those of our restaurants that opened this year get zero help, brutal. There's a lot of people, obviously, that really understand the plight, and I think a lot of those people are attached personally to it. I'm under great authority that Governor Polis watches this show frequently in order to get feedback from the community. What is it that you would address Governor Polis with if you were to speak directly to him right now?
I would like to be at some level be considered more, you know, in the different plans that we have, you know, the different operation stress that we have been under. You know, we are an industry that didn't need it to really change much. It limits. You know, if you think about it, like you said, you know, restaurants were clean. We are an industry that gets regulated and inspected on a regular basis. You know, we had every single cleaning product. I didn't have to go and buy, you know, detergents. I didn't have to change any protocol other than probably doing a lot more. You know, we're an industry that has been under surveillance for many, many, many years. We are law-abiding citizens that have to go through many processes, specifically when we obtain a liquor license. So for that to be all thrown away overnight, like that's where it becomes very hard, you know, that we have to go through procedures, we have to go through processes, we have to be inspected. And we just, you know, like if that works on a normal way of living, you know, we should find a common ground where it should work in today's world. You know, we should be part of that and just tell us how. Just don't stop us, don't impose on our operations, you know.
Thank you for sharing your story with us today.
Hey, thank you for having me.
Yeah, I'm digging that haircut, man. I'm going to look into one of those. I think I could pull that off. That's a good-looking haircut.
The answer is no to that question.
What?
You can't pull that off. I can't pull
You don't
that
think
off.
I can pull that
I
off?
don't think so, and I know that I can't. So there's my 2 cents on everything.
I think I can pull that off. Hey, listen, I've really enjoyed our time here together today, and your story, as much as I'd like to say is unique, it's happening out there, but it needs to be told. And I really admire your courage to come here today and tell us your story. I appreciate it, Mike Hernandez.
Hey, thank you very much. Great meeting you guys.
Yeah, that's it. That's it right there, Jay. These are the people. This is why these are the guys that make, the guys and the gals, in this instance, the guy that makes this business so special.
I agree 100%.
And what a success story.
And you know how long I've been in it, I still feel like I am. And it's like I so connect with guys like Mike that it's like, you know, I never got to Mike's level as far as restaurant ownership, and thankfully, because I would have lost my mind trying to get licensed and go through all the red tape that you have to go through. But as far as operation stuff goes, and hearing Mike go, man, I wear so many hats as it is right now. It's like I'm plunging a toilet, you know, and then 10 minutes later, you're shutting me down. Like, well, what are we talking about here?
You must have been cringing when I asked him the question about racial inequality.
No, man.
Okay.
I mean, you know, unfortunately not, because that's the world we live in too.
And you know, I want to make this analogy when we get back, and I think it's a jump across that whether you're left leaning or right leaning, you should be able to understand this analogy because it's interesting what we're seeing right here and what we're dismissing and excusing. the profiling. That's an interesting thing. Think about profiling. We do need to take a break and play some commercials of some great local sponsors that help support the Modern Eater Show. We would hope that you help support them as we come off of a very sleepy holiday weekend. Thursday was Thanksgiving. Jay, did you do anything special?
I did not leave my home. Did not leave.
I can imagine you didn't. Okay, we want to hear from you. The comments are coming in. We will read your comments. Please share the stream. This is how the word gets out. If you're watching this right now and you're not sharing this stream to your personal Facebook page or a group, you're being selfish. I'll say it right now.
Yeah,
you're keeping this to yourself, and we don't want you to do that. This is the way the word gets spread, okay? A lot of great stories are coming from this. And again, we can't wait to utilize Studio Kitchen to get back to telling the stories of the men and women in agriculture, product purveyors, chefs, front of the house, back of the house, restaurants. That's the real thing, you know. Food transcends all. Right now, we've hit a wall. This wall is scary. Special legislative session has come together, convened at 10 a.m. this morning. Anything come of it yet? We'll talk about that next, too, right here as the Modern Eater Show continues.
Hey. What's going on, everybody? This is Brother Luck from Lucky Dumpling, 4x Brother Luck in Colorado Springs, and I am rocking with the Modern Eater. You're watching them, you're tasting them, you're knowing everything there is to know about Colorado.
Hi, Charlie from Brews Beers here. Our new Belgian Abbey 4-pack is a mixed package of the 4 core beers made in Abbey and Trappist breweries in Belgium. So we have a single, a double, a triple, and a quadruple in one package. Now, quadruples are the emperors of Belgian monastery ales. They're dark in color, with a dense tan head, and alcohol ranging from 8 to 12%, so they're pretty strong. Quadruples are very rich and complex with big maltiness, spice, and flavors of raisins, cherries, and plums. Alcohol is apparent in the mouthfeel, but not overwhelming, even at 10.5% ABV. So the finish is long, complex, and dry, and they're great beers anytime, by themselves or with hearty foods. Pick up your Abbey 4-pack at either Brews location, 67th and Pecos, or at Colfax in York, and at fine liquor stores throughout the Denver metro area. Take home some Belgian-style badassery today.
Welcome to Tommyknocker Brewery here in beautiful Idaho Springs. We brew normally twice a day. Currently brew about 18 different beers. And right here's our brew kettle, steam-fired brew kettle, and we generate our steam with natural gas. We get our natural gas from Encore Energy and Brian Rizzuto. I really like working with Brian because he explains how the system works of getting your natural gas. It's not a mystery. I actually understand our energy bill.
You're watching The Modern Eater, and now back to the show.
Did you think you were going to go on this trip and no one would find out about it?
You know, I never even thought about it. It was a personal trip, personal time, and I've traveled several times since the pandemic began, and didn't think anything. That was not top of my mind in terms of sneaking out of the city. What was important to me at that point was getting to see my daughter and my wife, and the three of us to spend our time together as we had planned months ago to do.
Wow. Wow, wow, wow. And wow. The arrogance, huh? The mayor and the arrogance, and that wasn't at the top of his mind as he sends out a tweet in the airport, saying to restrict your travel as he takes off. So what does that mean? What does that mean? Thanks for coming back. It's Studio Kitchen, Colorado. We'd appreciate if you share the stream. What does that mean? Does that mean the mayor, he's just dumb? He's not a dumb guy. No. He gets all the latest and greatest statistics, CDC, hospital information, the spread. He gets it all. I think what he's telling you, if the narrative was to shift, if the media, your 4, 7s, 9s, 31s, if they were doing their job, the headline would read, "The mayor feels safe to travel." That's what the headline would read. Because he's telling you with his actions, right? I mean, he's telling you with his actions. Maybe that should have been the poll question, Jay.
I watched that interview, and you do get the feeling of. I mean, you definitely don't get the feeling that at any point in time in that conversation that he didn't feel safe to travel. Yeah. It was more just backtracking, going like, "Yeah, I messed up. I shouldn't have done it, but I did it. But it's okay, and I did it, and I shouldn't have."
Okay, I'm going to do my analogy. I'm the president of the Terrible Analogy Club. I don't know whether you knew that or not.
Yeah, the PIT.
But
PIA.
You always have to come up with analogies that people can understand, right? Mm-hmm. And whether you're left-leaning or right-leaning or right down the middle, I'm gonna hit you with an analogy. It's our poll question. Poll question is, why should small business equality be treated differently than racial equality? And the poll goes like this: it shouldn't is 79% of the folks, and it's totally different with 21% rings in. It's the 21% I'd like to talk to. And I'd like to talk to you guys right now because we need to have a heart-to-heart. I think we all agree, and it really showed with Black Lives Matters, with the inequality that racism has taken a toll on this country. Truly has. I mean, we were formed on immigrants and differences and different peoples and different walks of life, different religions, and inequality spans throughout. We're going to use racial inequality, right? And rightfully so. There were a lot of protests this past summer showing the uneasiness and the unrest that takes place when you see such things as racial inequality. It strikes me as a very similar jump across, okay? So let's talk about profiling. Jay, profiling. You know what profiling is?
Yes.
What like if you're assumed to be riding dirty, you know, you got the low rider.
Judging something. When somebody walks into the restaurant, you look at them and go, "Oh, I think this is about to happen."
Right. Yeah. And we're programmed, don't do that. Don't do that. Wait until someone commits a crime. Wait until someone proves you differently. Put those notions or those thoughts down to where you want to profile somebody. Put them down. Let them speak for who they are. Let's take a jump across into small businesses. Let's take a jump across of what we're seeing right now with the picking and choosing of who's safe and what's safe. The profiling, if you will, okay? Profiling restaurants to be deemed places with outbreaks, a significant, where I think facts and data are showing that a little bit differently. But the profiling is not changing. And this is affecting a lot of lives. A lot of small businesses are really being affected by this inequality. So if you take a small business, and I believe safer at restaurants, I believe it fully, right? Say safer at home, I say safer at restaurants. If you can, in your right mind, in your conscience, say to yourself that small businesses should be treated differently than an airline, or a grocery store, or a big box store, that all businesses aren't created equally, that there should not be a level playing field. Now, keep in mind, we are in the middle of an outbreak, understandably so, right? But profiling these businesses, making it difficult for them to operate, for them to pay their employees, for them to be able to make a living for their family, for themselves, for the community. If you could say in good conscience that businesses should be singled out for that, now let's keep in mind, here's what I am saying. I'm saying if you see a business, or if a business is deemed to be irresponsible or unsafe, judge them at that point. Condemn them and punish them at that point, just as what we would do is if somebody would commit a crime as a person. Rather than racially profiling, saying this person, because of statistics, our jails are made up of this, our crime rate is made up of this. It's said to, if you look, act, smell like a criminal, you are a criminal. Well, if you look and act like a small business or a restaurant right now, you're seeing criminals come out of that. Is that right? Do you feel okay with that? Or do you just take it? Do you just take it in? Now, you see a lot of unrest. You know, you look at the Facebooks of the world, the Twitters of the world. Let's just take the government mandates and accept them. That's what it is. But would you accept that if it was a person? No. The protest showed that. You don't accept that. And you shouldn't accept that. But why are you accepting that for small businesses? Why are you afraid to speak? Why are you not standing up for business equality? Why are we not punishing the businesses that aren't doing their best job to keep people safe? It's unreasonable to think. I'm all worked up now, Jay.
I see that. Well, listen, man, rightfully so.
It's unreasonable to think that we should sit back idly and watch our community shrivel up as small businesses everywhere perish. It's unreasonable. I beg of you, please, if you won't stand for racial inequality, you should be the first person to step up for your small businesses in your neighborhood. It's the right thing to do. It's the right thing to do. Okay, I need to calm down. If you have any feedback on that, please, we'll read it in the stream. Today's poll, why should small business equality be treated different than racial equality? I want to know that answer. So for the 80% of the people that say it shouldn't, I'm not talking to you. For the 20% of people that say it's totally different, I want to hear from you. It's a Monday. That's right. Special legislative session in order right now. They convened this morning at 10 a.m. The people that hold your futures, the brightest of the bright, your elective officials, they're meeting at the Capitol. It's a no-nonsense. We won't expect any filibustering because this is bipartisan, and damn it, we want to get relief for you. Why don't you get relief and take the proverbial knee off the neck of small businesses right now? How about doing that? We'll be right back.
I love the laugh. You're ready.
Like right now?
Yeah.
Hey, everybody, it's Kyle Mendenhall. I'm talking with my good friends from the Modern Eaters Show. Keep supporting them. There's a lot of good stuff happening.
We started Meridian Spirits because we love the way that spirits and cocktails can bring people together to socialize, to bond, to have conversations. Well, right now we've got some big conversations to have. Coop Vodka and Coop Gin are available at liquor stores across the metro area, but if you can't find us or would like to have us behind your bar or at your restaurant, send us an email, info@meridianspirits.com. We know things are a little different these days, but think of us the next time you're planning a virtual happy hour or a socially distant picnic. And keep an eye on our social media, Coop by Meridium, for all the latest and greatest.
Hey guys, it's Caroline Glover. I'm the chef owner of Annette out at Stanley Marketplace. Citrus is about to be in its prime. I just want to thank everybody for showing so much support to small local restaurants in this really hard time. And you're watching the Modern Eater Show. I'm fine with that.
If you're the vessel still telling people guidelines in the future, why should anyone take any of that seriously at this point?
Again, my hope is that people see the work that we've done over the last 9-10 months, which has been sincere, which has been transparent and honest about this virus. Again, under the guidance, the objective to save lives and to save livelihoods. We have done a lot together throughout the city of Denver. As a result, we've been able to do some good stuff, and we'll continue to do it.
I wouldn't listen to him. I'll tell you that much. We're getting in feedback. Claudia, I'm going to direct my attention towards you here in just a moment, but I want to direct my attention to another great Colorado brand. Family owned and operated. It's A+ Beverage Solutions. What do, Jay? They install tap lines, right?
Mm-hmm.
They install those beautiful, beautiful handles.
And they maintain them.
Absolutely. Maintenance is big. Especially right now, you want to save every penny that you possibly can, and your beer system, that's really going to help you out. Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions, you do not want to pour inefficient beer. If you're pouring inefficient beer, Jay, what are you doing?
You're pouring your money down the drain.
Do not pour your money down the drain. Get a hold of Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. It's an easy phone call away, 720-272-3809. It is on the screen below right now, 720-272-3809. Jeff Rourke and A+ Beverage Solutions. Here's your mayor again.
If you're the vessel still telling people guidelines in the future, why should anyone take any of that seriously at this point?
Again, my hope is that people see the work that we've done over the last 9-10 months, which has been sincere, which has been transparent and honest about this virus. Again, under the guidance, the objective to save lives and to save livelihoods. We have done a lot together throughout the city of Denver. As a result, we've been able to do some good stuff, and we'll continue to do it.
He's showing you by his actions, ladies and gentlemen. He gets all the information on a daily basis. He's showing you felt safe to travel, and it's really interesting. And I want to find this clip as we'll go into to continue, and I want to address Claudia's comments here in a minute. But I want to find this clip, Jay. Mm-hmm. And this one is, I think it's this one. Let's just give it a shot.
Did you think you were going to go on this trip and no one would find out about it?
I never even thought about it. It was a personal trip, personal time. And, I've traveled, several times since the pandemic began and, didn't think anything. That was not top of my mind in terms of sneaking out of the city. What was important to me at that point was getting to see my daughter and my wife and the three of us to spend our time together as we had planned months ago to do.
More arrogance right there. That's not the clip I was looking for, but more arrogance as your mayor did sneak out of the city as he tweeted, please restrict your traveling this holiday week as he jumped on a plane. There's one more.
I mean, that's your classic. He didn't even answer the question the dude asked him, which drives me crazy. Yeah, exactly right.
You told me in this interview so far that you had the thoughts that maybe even up until getting on the plane, you weren't going to do it. What was it that would have made you say, I'm not going to do this anymore?
It wasn't anything in particular. I think that had I spoken to my daughter and my wife before I got on the plane and said, listen, there are some concerns about travel, they knew what was going on, but they didn't know that I was struggling inside on whether or not it would be appropriate for me to get on that plane.
Damn it. As much as I'm enjoying watching the mayor backpedal on this, he did take full responsibility. But the bottom line at the end of the day is, and he said this, he said, well, I may have traveled, but I did follow the travel guidelines, right? He felt safe. And why? He was wearing a mask. He washed his hands, and he socially distanced. If that is the barometer of safety right now, Why shouldn't that transcend into our local businesses? Just follow those guidelines, because that's really the best that you can do. And even when you do your best, you might end up like the governor with COVID, who by my Jay does everything by the book. Still got COVID, okay? So let's go back to Claudia. Claudia, racial inequality to business shutdowns due to a global pandemic. Pause. Yes. A stretch, while also I don't think you understand racial equality then. Yeah, I'm dumb. You know, my 48 years on this earth, I don't know what it means. I look Hispanic. I've been called many derogatory words because of it. I have friends. I went to Manual High School. I don't know, how long have you lived in Denver for? When I was a kid, that was the beginning of busing. That's when I sat on the wall with my brothers and sisters. That's when I got to know folks. So, racial inequality. Let's just start with the word equality. What does that mean? It means equal. It means equal across the board. It means being treated the same, right? Are there consequences if you commit a crime? Yes. But Claudia, please tell me how equality should not be applicable to our small businesses right now. Okay? Now, obviously, that stark contrast is something that is very hard and difficult for some people, especially when they eat themselves, especially when they're the hunters and they begin to be hunted by their thought process. I have a feeling you might be one of those people. Because if you think equality should not transcend into our small businesses and you don't think the effects are life-altering, then you don't know Mr. and Mrs. Colorado, Mr. and Mrs. America, Mr. and Mrs. Universe. You don't know that small business person that's contemplating right now as they're drunk on taking their lives because they see no end. Or the folks that already have. The despair. There are no answers. The answers are left downtown right now at the state capitol. That's where the answers are left. Not in our communities. Not with us deciding. What's wrong with that? What's wrong? Where do the people that feel that they're law-abiding, that they want to do everything right, they want to be safe, they want to wear their masks, they want to socially distance, they want to wash their hands, but they also don't want to have their business shut down, or they also don't want their neighbor's business shut down. That voice should be unheard, I'm assuming. Okay, so that's my analogy. I'll just throw that one. Let you guys go at that one, right? I put it out there. I'll cut that up, put it back out there. We'll have other people sound off on it. So again, our poll today, why should small business equality be treated differently than racial equality? I guess why? Because the word racial? Because small businesses haven't been repressed as much yet. Shouldn't jump up to that classification. I know. I told you I'm president of the Bad Analogy Club. But I think you've got to be able to take my point in. So, Claudia, I just want to ask you a direct question. Do you believe what you're seeing happening to small business right now? Do you believe that it's ethical? Do you believe it's right? What do you believe? Do you believe in anything that's original? Do you believe in an original thought? Or do you just take lock, stock, and barrel what the politicians and bureaucrats tell you you should think? Are you the same person that would take a local phone number to tell on your neighbor, on your neighbors? I don't know. Just asking the question. More from Claudia, speaking to Deanna on the stream. I'm so sorry this is happening to you and yours. I am hopeful our government, I just have to stop there. I'll lose my mind. You're hoping the government is going to show up at the dance and hold your hand. I'll continue. I might lose it.
If you start freaking out,
I am hoping our government can come together and find a stimulus, loans, financing that could help small businesses while keeping our community safe. Please log on to your Amazon account, Claudia. Please go stuff your face with breadsticks tonight from Olive Garden. Please continue to pile into the big box stores and onto an airline with 200 of your friends nuts to butts, 200 of your closest friends you've never met before in your life, and say, you know what, that's okay to do because they said I could do it. Take a stand. Have an opinion. Find logic. All of this is lacking logic right now. I don't know. What are we watching? What are we watching? So here it is. Here's the news. Let's dig deep for money. Money comes from somewhere, right? Didn't your mom tell you money doesn't grow on trees, Jay?
She did. Yes, she did. She still does.
They can't just print it, Jay, and make it money, right? It has to come from somewhere, you'd think. Now, Colorado can't operate on a deficit. Did you know that?
I did not.
The federal government can operate on a deficit. So as they try to find this $200 and some odd million, right, at your local capital, as they try and find that, guess what they're doing too? Guess what they're doing too, Claudia? They're betting on the roll. They're hoping the government, the big boy in Washington, that those guys are going to cut a check and reimburse them, right? Lawmakers are hopeful that the Federal Emergency Management Agency will reimburse the money spent on public health response. Okay, so here's what they're doing. There's basically 8 bills up for vote this week, 3-day process. I hope all the worries go away. I really do. I hope they print as much fake money as we can possibly have. I'll pay $50 for a chicken sandwich and $200 for a martini. You keep that money flowing, right? I'll do it. Keep these small businesses afloat. They're looking for $105 million in tax relief and direct aid for businesses. They're looking for $100 million for public health response. What does that even mean? For public health response. They're looking for $50 million for housing relief, includes rental assistance. They're looking for $45 million for child care providers. They're looking for $20 million for expanded broadband access with a focus on helping students. And they're looking for $3 million to address food insecurity. They're looking for $5 million for utility payment assistance. That's what they're doing right now. That's what they're doing. Okay? All right. I got nothing left for you. I just wanted to, I thought that was, here's a good thing. Craig Tabor. You know what Craig Tabor is? Here's local businesses trying to help out local people. Craig Tabor. Hey, Greg, I get an email today. Hey, Greg, hope you're holding up as well as possible during this bizarre time. Locavore Delivery, which is his business, Locavore Delivery. He gets local products put together, delivery box, subscription-based, Locavore Delivery, locavoredelivery.com. Locavore Delivery is partnering with Buckner Family Farm to raise money and distribute food boxes throughout the winter or as long as necessary to restaurant workers who are unemployed and in need. Specifically, we want to reach out to folks who fall through the cracks of our laughable social safety net. Thank you, Craig Tabor and Locavore Delivery. What they're looking to do is, do you know anyone who is in need? He's asking if anybody he can give to, right? We're looking for 10 folks right now and are hoping to add many more as our subscribers sign up for a monthly donation to the program. Locavore will be matching all donations up to $500 a month. Cool. Thank you. That's the good stuff. Restaurants are supposed to be opening on December 18th, Davey says. Yeah? I didn't hear that. Opening how? Right? It's the race to the vaccine. You know, now the debate is whether to take the vaccine, not take the vaccine. I think everybody that's just looking to put this in the rearview mirror. Equality, Jay. Equality.
Yeah, I just don't think Claudia really understood your analogy. You know, my 2 cents. I think she kind of took it the wrong way with the PBAC.
I mean, I don't know how you can. That's pretty cut and dry. It's like punish, quit taking our restaurants and bars specifically. And we've talked to Mark Bergens from Little Pub Company and Chris Fuselier from Blake Street Tavern. Bars are decimated. Right? Bars are deemed by the governor to.
I mean, I think put it like this, right? To jump on your bad analogy, it's like think about box stores as a race, whatever race you want. Think about restaurants and small business as a certain race.
Jay, quit talking logical. You're going to freak me out.
And think about the airport as a certain race. Yeah. And this is to Claudia. And then think about what the government's doing as far as who they're slapping on the hand and who they're punishing and why, and hopefully that might clear it up.
I think Claudia's main point is that, hey, listen, racial inequality has been and is still a terrible, terrible thing. No doubt.
Sure.
100% agree with you. But to use that analogy for small businesses, I don't think is a very big of a leap. Man, I'm looking at my hair looks. I look terrible, man.
First of all, I think I told you in the commercial break, I love you. You didn't want my love. Woo! You're all wound up over this.
This is taking a toll on a lot of people, me including. I mean, I'm doing late nights, early morning. I'm talking to people all that are afraid to talk. Just today. I mean, let me go into my instant message here. I'll just paraphrase it. So in Colorado Springs, there was to be a gathering tomorrow with commissioners, a couple of attorneys, a congressperson, a representative, and some small business owners, some restaurant owners. It blew up. It went away. They're afraid on all levels. And you know why they're afraid? Because if anybody steps out of order right now, they're jeopardizing future funding and subsidies, and they're jeopardizing their licensing. And nobody's willing to do it. All right. Break, wrap it, and then we'll come back. You got a story for us?
Oh, I always have a story for you.
Jay Parker's going to create a little bit of levity. Bring this up. Let the fresh air into the room with a story. Right?
I'm also going to tell you about my most favorite thing to put inside of my body.
Oh, my God.
When we come back.
Really?
Yeah.
All right. Hang tight. You want to stick around for that. All right, we're doing it here. Your mayor is back in town. The arrogance is thick, y'all. Thick. So, you know, I get pictures. I get pictures sent to me on my phone. These are the same people that Claudia listens to. These are the same people that will tell her what's good for her, and she'll say, yep, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Same people, right? And your mayor, he will go and sit at a bar with no mask on, with people around him, and eat and drink. I have photos. Let me rephrase that. I've seen photos. The person who has them doesn't want to give them to me.
I mean, listen, we don't even have to show those photos. The dude tweeted from.
No, and what he's showing you is his actions, and his words told you. I followed the travel guidelines. The travel guidelines are wear your mask, socially distance, and wash your hands. He felt safe, y'all. He felt safe. Why shouldn't you feel safe at restaurants? You should. Safer at restaurants. It's usually up. There's Jay Parker.
Well,
right
I thought we were going to commercial, man. I was
All right, we'll be back. The Modern Eater Show continues.
Hey, you guys. Jay here with the Modern Eater Show. Thanks for watching. Don't forget about our YouTube and Instagram channels. A lot of killer content over there. Throw us a subscribe on YouTube. Throw us a follow on Instagram. And thank you for supporting TME. We couldn't do this without our amazing sponsors, so let's check them out right now.
Very proud to be part of the Modern Eater, and chefs, restaurant owners, any food service operators. You know, I know right now that delivery and carry out is bigger than ever, and we got you covered. Cambro has a full line of delivery and carry out items. More economical options are expanded polypropylene or EPP, nice insulated container. The ProCard Ultra is really versatile. It's a great unit because you can actually store cold products down here, hot products up here. It's all 120. There's no refrigeration worries. It's all thermodynamics. Just let us know what your food service challenges are, what it is we can do to help you out, and there isn't anything that we can't do for you. So hope to see you over here at our facility in Park Hill soon, and stay safe out there.
You know, everybody, with several $1 million of hard assets here, insurance is very, very important to us. Ewing Levitt covers it all. Machinery, building, workman's comp. Ewing Levitt's got us covered from the floor to the ceiling, from our alley even to the street. This divider, this press, my cooling conveyor, my oven. Ow, ow. Ewing Levitt covers our counter stacker and our employees too. If you need insurance, take it from Little Rich at Rockalitas. Call Ewing Levitt, they'll get you covered.
I go home, I strip down to my skivvies. All right, here we go. I got it. Hey everybody, Steve Gould from Golden Moon Distillery and Golden Moon Speakeasy. When I get my cocktails to go from Golden Moon Speakeasy, I go home, I kick back, and I watch The Modern Eater. Skivvies. Hey, I'm a Marine. It's skivvies, man.
Hi, I'm Amber with Strohauer Farms, and I'm just here to remind you that the best potatoes are grown here in Colorado. Goodness elevated. Thanks for watching the Modern Eater Show.
Hey, Zach Ryder here, Colorado Mills Sunflower Products out of Lamar, Colorado. Your only local source, grown from a local crop to produce a local oil for local chefs. You can find it at Shamrock Foods, What Chefs Want, Seattle Fish Company. Let me try it one more time, then we'll see. Hey, restaurants, we're glad you're reopening. From Colorado Mills Sunflower Oil, we'll see you soon.
First, we partner with the best farmers in the world, and then we tell them, we will take it all. Process whole spices daily, blend custom spices to order, keep it fresh, safe, and flavorful, all so that you can get back to doing what you do best. So whether you're a restaurant, a food manufacturer, or an at-home cook, be sure to visit The Spice Guy at www.thespiceguyco.com.
Hey Modern Eater fans, I'm Don Trobo with the Annex by Ardent Mills, and I just wanted to give you a heads up about some of the great things we've got going on locally in the state. We're headquartered right here, and we're working with farmers in the San Luis Valley to bring you amazing Colorado quinoa. It's just like the South American stuff, but grown locally. We've got transitional wheat flour that's grown by farmers in Colorado and surrounding states who are in the process of turning their fields into organic. So we're taking that transitional wheat and turning it into flour, and now it's available for you to cook and bake with. And last but not least, we're now cleaning grain berries in Denver. So things like spelt or wheat berries or pearl barley, those are things that we're now doing right here locally and are available to you. Can't wait to share it with you.
Hi, I'm Jeff Nations from Aspen Baking Company. It's really important right now to support local. That's why I support the Modern Eater. Now, back to the show.
We're back to the show, and thank you for tuning in. And as I promised, I wanted to tell you about the most favorite thing that I have that I like to put in my body, and it's bread, baby, bread. AspenBaking.com. You just heard from Jeff Nations, who is the definition of small business. And terrible times right now, but you know what makes it better? I'm telling you, a warm sourdough bowl that you put hot clam chowder into, and you eat it and you grill the top. Since 1994, Aspen Baking Company has been doing it, and they've been doing it right. They don't do it with preservatives. They don't do it fake colors. They don't freeze it. They don't put chemicals. They do it the right way, you guys. AspenBaking.com. I implore you, if you're a bread lover, chefs, and you can't bake your own bread or you need bread, if you think bread, think Aspen Baking Company and do local a favor and order on AspenBaking.com.
All right, well said, and welcome back. Thank you, as this is just a lively, as we're Dawn of the Dead, just waking up after a long holiday weekend, just kind of what's going on out there. Well, what's happening is the attrition is really taking place, and small businesses are everywhere. It's just, what do we do? There's no relief in sight. Hurry up and wait. There's a vaccine on the way. There's federal funding that's going to come. The state's going to give it to you. Gosh, I'm glad. I am so thankful for Claudia's of the world, right? Because I can go off of something. Here's our poll for today. Why should small business equality be treated different than racial equality? 78% of very sound thinking folks say it shouldn't. And 22% say it's totally different. Claudia, here's a comment Claudia made on the stream. I'm supporting small businesses every day. I believe our health officials are taking measures to keep our communities safe. Look at the numbers. Our hospital workers are getting full and tired. Yes, but not because of small businesses. Okay? A lot of factors are going into that, not to mention it's flu season. Okay? So Claudia, you're so big into numbers and what people say. Do a little reading. Check it out. I know it was last week, November 24th. New York Times article. Here it is. You'd love this, Claudia. Title, Small Gatherings Spread the Virus, but are they causing the surge, right? We know the end is our hospitals are getting filled up. People are catching coronavirus. Governor has coronavirus. Mayor's traveling around trying to get coronavirus. Our small businesses, our restaurants are being singled out. Claudia, let me just take an excerpt out of this, okay? Because you love numbers, you love health officials, because you need to start looking at what epidemiologists and scholars are saying, rather than the politicians and the bureaucrats, but because let's face it, they're not the brightest of the bright, right? Excerpt, New York Times. In Colorado, Claudia, these are active cases in Colorado right now. In Colorado, only 81 active cases are attributed to social gatherings, compared with more than 4,000 from correctional centers and jails, 3,300 from colleges and universities, 2,400 from assisted living facilities. And Claudia, this is where you believe in discrimination, okay? 450 combined from restaurants, bars, casinos, and bowling alleys. 450. Why is the profiling going on to bars and restaurants? It's interesting, isn't it? I don't know, Claudia, there was a lot of times throughout history, and I'm sure you're a scholar of history, and you've seen concentration camps and people being rounded up, and even here in the United States. You've seen it. The only thing that changed it was questioning, was pushing back. Why aren't you willing to push back? Why aren't you willing to have an opinion of your own? Why aren't you willing to do your own research? Why aren't you willing to do the real support for restaurants and bars instead of, oh, I do my part. I go get takeout every so often or every day. They need to operate. Not saying just open up the doors, open up the floodgates, come on in, don't wear a mask, no social distancing. They're following all the guidelines. I'm just trying to fight for them. That's all I'm doing. I'm trying to point this out. I hope you can excuse me and understand that. Please, Claudia, please. Because you know what? It's your voice. I'm not going to lump you into a political category. You are me. I am you. We're in the same fight. It's together. It's our neighborhoods. It's our communities. It's our mom and pop shops. It's our favorite restaurants. They're doing what they can. Everybody's doing what they can. But equality from the big box store to the to the grocery store to the airplane. You know the drill. You've heard them all. Okay? Please, Claudia. Please. Jay.
God, and I'll just 2 seconds of downer and then some. It's like that's the frustrating part of the whole thing is the fact that it's in all of our faces, like the numbers you read off in there, to where it's like if the numbers were reversed and so many things were coming from the restaurant community somehow, some way, and people getting sick that way, then it's like, okay, man, holy moly, like, yeah, we got to shut them down. Like, I hear you, how the hell is that happening? But we got to shut. But it's not the case. I mean, it's just so easy to look at the big picture and go, let them open and pay their bills and survive, because people still want to go out, right? I mean, we all still want to go out.
They're doing it somewhere.
Right? I mean, I know, but...
So now people are relegated to alleys and dark doorways and to hotel rooms and to college dorm rooms and to backyards.
But don't you think it's almost, at this point, it's almost like it's surreal, right? That it's surreal, the hypocrisy that's happening, because you go, wait a minute, you couldn't possibly do this because we know that it's wrong. We can see the numbers and we can talk to the doctors and it still happens, and they just go, well, got to protect everybody.
Well, the hunters are becoming hunted right now.
God.
Political correctness will eat itself. Consistency, that's how you got to consistent across the board. Hey, Jay.
Yeah.
Did you come from a family with multiple kids?
Yes.
You had to treat all the kids the same, right? I mean, if you let Johnny do more than Beth, you're going to set a bad precedent, right?
Well, not the best analogy, because I was a star child, and so I got different treatment. But I know where you're going with the analogy.
You get what I'm throwing down?
The PBAC.
Right. So, let's see. Claudia, one last time. Mark Henry excuses me. Thank you. Claudia, Viero, Farfan, Loreno. You can tell, you know, when you keep every name that you have, you know where they're coming from. I'll just say that right now. I'm profiling you, Claudia. When you keep every damn name that you have and put it into one, we know who you are.
It's a beautiful name.
I appreciate you giving those numbers. I do see now, compare it to other areas where the spread is worse, is where we should focus. I do agree with that, but strongly disagree with comparing these measures to racial inequality. Hey, as long as you arrive at the point that I'm trying to make, I will apologize all day long for creating that analogy that you do not like. As long as you arrive at that same conclusion,
I told you.
God bless you, Claudia. Okay?
Remember what I said in the last segment? I said I just don't
Claudia,
think she gets,
speak up for that. Okay? Speak up for that. Be a free-thinking individual. I love you. Those were the names that were given to by my parents. Okay.
It's a beautiful name.
It is a beautiful name. And I bet you're a beautiful person, Claudia. And I'm glad that you've come to the side of logic. Welcome to logic. Okay.
She just doesn't like your analogy. And
I love
you know,
my
and
analogy.
well, no, I mean,
It's
listen,
getting people to think.
no, it does, and at the end of the day, like you say, if she can just kind of see what we're saying, and then make your decision on if you agree with what we're saying, take the analogy out of it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
And Claudia, I shouldn't have profiled you. I saw you as a soccer mom that got married, and you have your husband's name and your maiden name and your middle name and somebody else's name in there, and you know you're so far. No, I apologize. Don't want to profile you. Just like I don't want other people to profile. Equality, that's what it means, across the board. Equal. Our businesses should be treated. It just seems so easy and logical. Okay, stop. Tomorrow we'll bring you more, 2 p.m. I'm hoping that the narrative starts changing. Channel 4, 7, 9, 31. Instead of reporting the town, and did he think it was careless, ask him the questions. Mayor, did you feel safe? Did you think it was enough? Just the protocol, washing your hands, wearing a mask, socially distancing. Those are the things that are proving safe right now. Those are the things. But just like our governor is showing us, they're not all fail-safes. They're not. They're just not. So in order to take such junk science with so many things across the board and targeting and profiling and your local restaurants and bars suffering mightily, it's up to us to stand up and say, listen, we're not the smartest, we're not the sharpest knives in the drawer, but there is a little bit of logic and common sense, and we saw how inequality, how you treat that, you got to treat equality across the board the same. What's the story today? Jay spent 30 years behind a bar. Behind the bar? No,
well,
in a
I
kitchen.
mean, like half of that behind the bar, the other half in
You've
kitchens.
seen a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You've seen a lot.
Oh, yeah.
You're a lifer.
I am a lifer.
But it hardened you a little bit. Is the customer always right?
Rarely.
Rarely right.
Rarely. In my experience.
This is why the bartender hates you. I love this segment. It's Jay Parker Unplugged. Should we do the nacho story?
Well, you like that nacho.
I love that nacho.
Well, okay, I'll add nachos to the thing.
get-
I was going to ask you, because I have
All
a
right,
few
I'll
written
choose.
down. So there's the poker machine story. There's nachos. There's eyebrows. And then I still have the urinating and the walk-in. And
How about the pool table one, too? Last call.
Oh, God. I mean, which one? Something
Which
on
one
a
do you
pool
like?
table? Well, I mean, let me think.
Let's do the it's time to go. It's last call, okay? And what that's left, just the general consensus of every night you do the same thing. Because, Jay, 2 a.m. is last call. I get to stay in your bar till 2 a.m., right?
No, you don't.
Okay.
The same way that you have to wear a mask if I tell you to wear a mask. It's the same logic, which is it's my bar and I make the rules. Now, that being said, okay, I'll tell. Let me widescreen myself. So
Widescreen yourself and look directly to the folks.
What's going on here. All right, so this story I'm going to tell you is basically a million of the same stories, right? But I'm going to explain to you how it goes for a bartender. If you don't know, if you are a bartender, or a server, or a restaurant manager, then I'd be appalled if you don't understand what I'm talking about. But this happens every single night in a normal world without COVID. Last call happens, right? Now, I've said this for a long time, and you can take this however you want, speaking of profiling and judging. But if you go into any restaurant or bar in the world that has a pool table, for whatever reason, you'll find the worst people of the bar, you'll find them around the pool table somewhere, playing pool, around it, the ones that are going to give you problems with something. That's just my opinion. So every single night with a pool table, what happens is last call happens just like it does every single night. And if your restaurant happens to have sections, then you go through each section. Hey, everybody, last call. You want something for last call? Let me get you something for last call. It is last call. Also, the favorite part of the night for everybody that works there, right? Just in case you missed that. Last call. You want something? Yes, no, maybe so. Okay, here you go. Yes, you ordered it. Here comes your round of drinks. So this is what happens every night. And specifically, this is a story of what happened to me one particular night.
Can I ask you a question?
Yes.
If I put $5 worth of quarters into the jukebox, that buys me more time, doesn't it?
Yeah, you could stay about around 2:30, 3 o'clock, to finish all your songs.
You're gonna lose.
Now I'm at a jukebox one. I'm going to write that down because I've got plenty of jukebox ones, too. Let me write that down. Hold on, jukebox. So this particular night, it's last call at the bar where I'm up in the game room. There's 2 pool tables in the game room. I tell the gentleman playing pool, hey, guys, last call. You want anything? That sort of thing.
Lights are up. Playing closing time, like everybody.
Lights are up.
Yeah.
Music's still on,
Yeah.
right? Because about 5 minutes after last call, and every bar is a little bit different, right? I worked at a bar downtown where we did last call 10 minutes earlier than what the actual last call is, and a lot of bars do that just because you're trying to get ahead of the game because people don't want to leave, right? Yeah. So pool table, last call, here's your last drinks, okay. I go back down, I start side work, I start doing all the things that bartenders do in between, calling last call, pouring the drink, then you start doing a couple of miscellaneous stuff. Go back up into the game room. All right, you guys. Now it's let's see, last call's at 1:30. So now this is like 1:40, right? All right, everybody, start finishing up. Now, technically, there's 20 minutes between 1:40 and 2 o'clock. Now, the common understanding is that you can drink up until 2 o'clock. People think that you can drink up until 2 o'clock. Guess what? You can drink up until 2 o'clock. But if you drink up until 2 o'clock, then how the hell do I get you out of the door if you're drinking up until 2 o'clock? And then law, at 2 o'clock, everyone has to be out of the building and no more alcohol. Right? So in order to do that, you have to do it a few minutes early, right? That's common sense. So this guy on this particular day, I'm doing the last call. I go up at the 1:40. All right, you guys, it's time to start drinking them. Let's go. And this was my move. I clap, and I'm like, hey, how you doing? Because I don't know what else to do. I want to.
It's a motivator.
All right. But at the same time, positive and fun, and this guy's all right, Inside, I might hate you, but I'm acting like, all right, man, let's go. So this is 1:40. 1:45 comes around. Now, this is a little more of go time. And in the particular bar that I worked at, our company policy was to have everybody outside by 1:50. Now, that didn't always happen. But and I would have to ask Mark, but that gives you 10 minutes. So their policy is 1:50.
Right, but you could ask people to leave at 1 if you want to.
I ask people to leave 10 minutes after they show up at 6 o'clock if they deserve it, So this particular gentleman and his friends on the pool table, now it's 1:45. So I'm like, hey, listen.
You know what that tells me to do? Start another game.
Start another game, yeah. Or it tells most people, hey, just ignore this guy and keep playing pool. That's how. That's the thing.
There is nobody in their right mind. They would have to be a heartless bastard to come by mid-game and say, you know what, I don't care. So hey, we've got immunity with the pool table.
So it's 1:45 now, and so now I'm up in the game room, and now like the clapping happy guy, he's kind of gone away. And, the jerk isn't there yet. He's not there yet at 1:45. But he's getting close, so now it's like, listen, fellas, seriously, like, let's wrap it up. Let's go. I have to have, and I tell people, like, I have to have you out by 1:50. He says, you don't close until 2 o'clock. That's what he tells me. Yeah. So I say, yes and no. Like, because I know where he's coming from. I know he's coming from I can drink in here until 2 o'clock, which is insane. So I say, no, technically, we close when we say we're closed. I've used that before to where it's like, listen, man, if we decide to close down at 10 o'clock and we do last call at 9:30, then that's what we do because it's our restaurant, it's our bar, it's us, it's not you, it's us. So he says I have until 2 o'clock. So now, like I say, 1:45. I'm supposed to have everybody out to 1:50. I know I've got that 10-minute from 50 to the top to talk to people. And so I say, no, man, you don't. I know what you're thinking, but I have to have everybody outside by 1:50 company policy. So the 2 o'clock thing isn't really a factor. He goes, well, just let us finish our game. Just let us finish our game. Okay, that's what he says. And if you're a restaurant person, bartender, manager, you know this too. Apparently, when you're really drunk and it's the last game of pool of the night, that's the most important game of pool in human existence. It's more important than your children, than your wife. It's more important than respecting other human beings. I have to finish this pool game, by the way, where Carl is sitting on the edge of the table and there's vomit on the corner of the table. But I got to finish it. Got to finish the pool game. Way more important than whatever you're telling me. So I tell him, no, man, listen. So I explain everything, Greg. I swear I did. I explained it all. Like, listen, man, I have to have everybody out at 1:50. It's 2 o'clock. Well, let me just finish the game. I'm like, listen, you got 2 minutes to finish this game. And then I'm coming back. And when I come back, I told him, when I come back, 2 minutes, you're going to be finished. I'm gonna put the ball. I forget how I worded it, but I'm like, you're going to be finished, man. Seriously. So I come back in a genuine 2 minutes. If anything, a little bit longer than 2, but real close to 2. I come back for 2 minutes. It's like there's balls all over the table. Yeah. They're in the middle of the best game of cutthroat the history of pool has ever seen. And so I say, all right, fellas, that's it. And I start balls in the pockets. Game over. This is 60 seconds before 150. There's no way I'm getting them out by 150. So technically, according to our restaurant management's guideline for everybody outside by 150, I'm not going to meet that, but that's why they do it at 150. So we have the 10 minutes to argue and play around with people. This dude, I'm putting balls in pockets, right? And this dude's like, yo. He's like, what's going on? Like, what are you doing? Like, it's the biggest shock in the world of what I'm doing to him right now, even though 30 minutes before, I told him it's going to happen. I did last call. I did the follow-up. Hey, it's after last call, so drink them up. I did the third go-around where it's like, all right, man, listen, the next time I come back, this thing's ending, and hopefully you want. And then when I come back and start, hungry hippo and all the balls in the pockets, that's it. You're not playing pool anymore. You know what he does? He takes the stack of quarters that are on the pool, because they think they're playing until Christmas, He takes the stack of quarters on the bar, about $3.75 worth, and he throws them in my face.
No, he didn't.
Yes, he did. All right, more so my chest. All right, story purposes in my face. But he threw them at me from across the pool table, 4 feet. And so I go, oh, my God, I choke. I got to choke somebody. Somebody's getting choked. I don't want it to be me, but I can't. But now that's assault, brother. It's assault. So he throws the quarters at me. I'm just like, what are you doing? His friend now. And then, of course, he wants to fight me. I'm a terrible person. And the whole time, I literally, you wouldn't believe it, Greg. I know you wouldn't believe it. But I'm like under pressure in the bar. I'm the coolest character in the world. This show freaks me out. This is difficult, right? Bartending's easy. Quarters come flying at me. I give him this one right here. I'm like, I told you that this was coming. Well, I told you. I was even told you I was going to put now you hate me. Now you want to physically hurt me. I go, do you not understand the world that we live in? And I do that a little bit to be condescending and makes me feel better for sure. I can admit that. So the viewers are drastically dropping off. So anyway, his friends have to corral this guy, drag him outside so that he doesn't kill me, all because they were playing pool and just didn't want to stop. Yeah. This one guy in particular. The other guys, they were just kind of like, whatever. I don't care. I'm hammered. That sort of thing. But he didn't want to stop playing pool, and because of that, and of course it's alcohol-induced, but I'll tell you, even the drunkest I ever was or anything like, I wasn't that person, and I don't know. But if you're going to physically assault somebody or disrespect them because of the rules inside of the bar, and especially when it's last call, you know how that works, man. This dude was 30. You know how it works. This would be my plea. I should do a plea at every Why the Bartender Hates You. Is like, please understand, folks out there, understand what your bartenders and servers and restaurant managers are doing. Please understand what they're doing. Now, listen, if this had been some bizarre case of where, and I don't even know, I can't even think of a fake story of when that would be allowed. It's just, you know what's going on. Even if it was 6 o'clock and I'm a lunatic and I come up and I go, all right, last call, time to go, and I start putting the balls in or whatever at 6 p.m. and you could be dead sober. Yeah. That's not a reason to throw quarters at the guy's face and try to kill him. Yeah. I mean, it's just not. Yeah. You can go like, well, you're insane. Yeah. Obviously, because it's 6 o'clock, I'm totally so I can't play pool anymore. You're crazy. Is there a manager I could talk to? Because I don't really know.
You still don't throw something at him.
But you don't throw something at somebody and try to get at
6
him.
p.m. It's shift change. I'm leaving, so you are too.
He tried. he tried. Yeah, that's right. He tried to get me.
Yeah, Jay.
I mean, come on, man.
The good old days, man.
Hey, listen, for
good old days.
I'd say,
you remember that?
I'm trying to think of an analogy. A bad experience I had, and I can only speak for me. You can generalize. I think for every bad experience I had in the restaurant business, world, life, you have, for every one, you have 10 that are great.
Yeah. Oh, is that true?
Yeah, I mean, in my case, yeah.
Here's a joke for you. So 2 guys walk into a bar to play a game of pool. They get kicked out because the bar's closed. the end.
I'm telling you. You know what I love? I know we don't have enough time, but I would love
got
for
all the time in the world.
I'd love if somebody actually stood there. Now it's down to 7, went from 20 to 7. Man, I just can't believe you tune out during that. That was great.
Well, they knew the end.
But well, they knew.
And they're done with it. And they're thinking about this. They're thinking about this poll, which we closed up. Why should small business equality be treated differently than racial equality? You may hate the analogy, again, but what is an analogy that will get you at the end of the day to the conclusion that needs to happen right now? I don't know. Our state capital, we need to be down there, united, to just show unity, to just show, a simple sign. All small businesses were created equal. All businesses were created equal. Right? What seems logical to me. What am I missing? Let me know. Getting a lot of feedback. Thank you guys for tuning in today. We'll be back on the beat tomorrow, 2 p.m. Playboy, a.k.a. Your Honor, the mayor, back in town, right? He felt good. He felt safe. He did a little traveling. He says he's traveled a lot since during COVID. He did what needed to take place, though. Washed his hands, covered his face, social distance. Restaurants, safer at restaurants. That's what I say. You guys, seriously, we need the voice. They need to happen. They need to come up now. Now is the time. And I know this week I want egg on my face worse than the next person. I want them to come out of that state capitol. Sunshine, a rainbow, a unicorn runs out, throwing cash everywhere, like 50 Cent in a strip club. Does he still spend he doesn't have that money anymore. Be like Floyd Mayweather at a strip club. That's what I want. I want everybody to do well. I want your small business to survive through COVID. What do you want? All right? Let us know. You can email me, greg@themoderneater.com. Yes, I do have other shirts. I'll wear one tomorrow.
Or themoderneater@gmail.com.
Or themoderneater@gmail.com. Or DM us or instant message us. But I'm ready. Are you? I'm ready. Okay. Thank you to Jay Parker. Thank you to Mike Hernandez, who came on the show earlier today. If you missed today's show, I would encourage you to watch the replay. I think you'll appreciate that. There's more Mike Hernandezes than there are not right now. Okay? And again, I hope that there's relief in sight. I hope the vaccination's all we need. I want to be partying with all of you guys very soon. I want to open up this kitchen to the networking that it deserves. I want everybody making some money. That money, man. Support local. I'm sure you are. And do what you can. That's all we can do right now. Do what you can. But don't be afraid to speak. Don't be afraid to read. Don't be afraid to be educated. And don't be afraid to have an original opinion. Okay? All right. God bless the governor. I hope you and yours are recovering, speedy recovery. Immune system is important right now. I think we should do a more immune system programming. Like, how can you bolster your immune system? Give yourself a fighting chance through this thing. How can you lower your stress levels? I need all of those things, and I need you. Okay? All right, we love you. So for Jay Parker, I'm Greg Hollenbach. We'll see you tomorrow, 2 p.m. The Modern Eater Show continues.